You want my gems? You can have it. I left everything I gathered together in one place. Now you just have to find it.
Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be Pot of Greed ×2 with our normal summon in the Ice Barriers deck. If you haven't seen this combo, it is completely nuts. All you got to do is normal summon Hexa Spirit of the Ice Barrier. There's a lot of ways to search this card, so you're pretty much going to be getting it quite easily. Then there's some other 2-card combos that can do the same thing, but let's show off how you do it. Alright, summon Hexa, activate its effect, send from the deck to the graveyard, Mirror Mage of the Ice Bearer. If you're playing budget, you only need 1 copy of this to do this combo. It's going to activate, it's going to search. You're going to search for Speaker for the Ice Bearers. Got an adorable corgi, so, you know, we're already winning. Alright, now we get to special summon it because we control an Ice Barrier. That's the effect of Speaker. We've got that Hexa Spirit of the Ice Barrier here. And then we're going to link to into the Marincess Coral Anemone. That's the next step. We're going to activate Coral Anemone and summon from the graveyard our Mirror Mage of the Ice Barrier. And now we're going to use Mirror Mage's effect. We're going to activate pop our Coral Anemone, and we're going to get 3 tokens. Alright, this is a bit slow to summon, but that's the play. Alright, now use the Speaker that's in the graveyard, banish it, and that is going to summon an additional token. So now we got all the tokens we can need. Let's synchro summon Coral Dragon. You don't need to summon Coral Dragon to draw 4, but it can protect you from an Ash Blossom negate, although they probably would have ashed something before this, is something to know. Alright, so now we got the Coral Dragon. We use all our tokens to summon Croco Dragon, and that's going to draw 1 from the Coral Dragon, and it's going to draw 3 from the Croco Dragon. That is draw 4 from the normal summon. Let's see what sort of board we can make with the Ice Bearers. We have everything we could ever want in the hand. Let's start by using maybe Ice Jade Agerine. One problem with the Ice Barriers is if you don't have any Ice Barriers on the field, often you can't summon, and the Synchro 10 isn't an Ice Barrier, so we're lucky we drew in that spell. Let's start by making Ice Mountain, and now we can activate the Freezing Change to summon an Ice Barrier from the graveyard, getting our Revealer, discard Ice Barrier, summon our Georges, then we get the additional Mirror Mage again, going to Supreme Sovereign. So now we have Lancia to special summon things, we have Croco Dragon pop, we got discard 2 with the Croco Dragon to pop a card on field. If a card is banished, Supreme Sovereign is going to banish a card from field and graveyard. And we got Ice Bear in the graveyard, which we can use to trigger the Supreme Sovereign. Opponent does have to have a card in graveyard for that to work, though. We're not done. Let's summon Georges. Georges has an effect. Alright, he has an effect. While we control another Ice Barrier, opponents can't activate the effects of monsters in the graveyard. So if they're playing Ice Bearers and they try and send their Mirror Mage, it's not going to work because we got the Georges. So opponent, good luck, good luck, good luck. See what they can do. Opponent, going straight to battle, hitting us with the Evenly Matched. Alright, so what is the best card on this board? We get to keep 1. The rest are going away. We're going to keep Lancia. Everything else going to get banished. Really solid with the Evenly Matched. You can see I'm playing a playset. I'm playing 3 Evenly Matched myself. Opponent playing Ice Jades. Ice Jade Agerine is here. It's going to search for an Ice Jade card. Searching for the Ice Jade Cradle. Cradle is going to search for the Agerine Ron. That's weird. We're playing that too. Wind and Water Event. Agerine. Opponent discarding Dwamatep summoning, and they're going to make a rank 10, but not before we get to summon General Raiho. Raiho, the best monster to summon. When your opponent activates an effect on field, they have to discard a card, or the effect is negated. Their choice. I mean, they don't really have it. They get to choose, but they don't really have a choice. Opponent making Supreme Sovereign. Do they have a way to trigger it? Well, we get to trigger our Lancia again. We're going to summon Georges. Great thing about Georges, alright, we get him back from the graveyard, and when he's summoned, we summon another level 4 or lower Ice Bearer, so we get to set up. We get our Revealer back. Opponent ending the turn. Alright, now, opponent, they got to do their Ice Jade play, but we are not worried about this at all. Let's activate Revealer, discard Evenly, summon Mirror Mage, get that Ice Jade Khmer Agerine. Now, what does this do? Alright, this card, actually super relevant in this situation. Activate this effect. Face-up monsters can't be destroyed or banished by opponent's card effects this turn. And if we activate it in response to opponent's card effect activation, and they have that card, a card with that name on the field or graveyard, we banish it. So if opponent we banish a card, opponent activates the Supreme Sovereign, we can respond with Jameer and banish the Supreme Sovereign, and our monsters can't get banished. So opponent's looking pretty cooked here. Let's activate Ice Barrier. Now, of course, they could always choose not to do that, and then they got this really thick Supreme Sovereign. So how do we out the Supreme Sovereign? Well, Ice Barrier can search for Turtle Kaiju, so searchable Kaiju with Ice Barriers. So now we threaten to banish just Turtle the Sovereign, and obviously it's pretty easy to clear the field here. Opponent knows they are cooked. They are done. Love to see it. Opponent done. Ice Barriers, sweet deck. Let's go on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. Today we are playing Ice Barriers, newly upgraded with all the new Ice Barrier cards. Makes the deck actually completely sick. And we're playing in the Wind and Water event. Event's really fun. There's no Maxi, there's no Ash Blossom, so we get to kind of test out the deck without being worried about those specific cards. I do think this is a deck that's actually viable on ladder, and I think there's a great budget version of the deck. So I'll talk about that in the future, but today I'm going to show you how to draw 4 cards with Ice Barriers, and it's a pretty easy combo. All you have to do is normal summon 1 monster, which we have a lot of ways to get to. You'll be able to draw 4 cards and do additional plays. So make sure to stick around. I also got my full deck list at the end of the video, so you'll see exactly what the best way is to play in this Wind and Water event, the Ice Barriers. Also playable on regular ladder too if you want to test it out that way. The Ice Barrier deck, really fun. I'm quite loving it. I know people are going to get mad because there's a loner deck in the Wind Water event that is Ice Barriers, and it's actually really solid. So a lot of people have been playing it, so people might get sick of it. So what is the opponent doing here? Opponent's playing Magispectors, and they got the XYZ armor. So far, I don't see any interaction on their board. So they got 3-set back row. This guy, they can use the trap, rank up. They rank this guy up, all right? This is what they do. They'll rank him up into the full armor Dark Knight Lancer, and then they can attach a monster from an XZ monster from their graveyard to it, and that yoinkifies one of our monsters. So luckily, we got Finger. We can finger away their only XZ, so we can play around that. I'm hoping to make Big Chungus the Che-Ying of the Ice Barrier first. That way my Finger will trigger the Chungus and I can banish stuff from their field. They do have 2 more set back rows, so that could be anything. We just got to hope for the best. Let's start by making the Big Chungus play. Discard our second Age Reading. It is once per turn. Opponent has interaction. Counter Trap. Magispector Tempest. Gonna negate the summon and destroy. So opponent stopped our Age Reading from summoning. That is 1 piece of interaction down. They did have to tribute their Magispector, but I don't think that was doing anything anyway. Alright, so now what do we do? Opponent's triggering effects to summon more Magispectors that do nothing. So that is fine. Now we are going to go for our play. So we're going to search Medallion Ice Barrier. Add an Ice Barrier. Not a hard ones per turn. Play 3 of this. It's amazing. Alright? You can keep searching all your Ice Barriers. Opponent. Full Armored XZ. Alright, they're going to rank up. That's fine. This is what I talked about. Full Armor is going to activate in the graveyard, and it's going to attach an XZ from their graveyard to this guy, and that's going to trigger this guy, and he's going to eat one of our XZs. Yeah, the card is equipped. Attach a monster your opponent controls this card. So that is non-target yoinkage. So Medallion is going to search for our best starter, which is Revealer. Revealer is going to... Okay, opponent's going for it now, which is the right thing to do. So once we summon this, they get priority. If we get priority back, we could have summoned Georges while we control an Ice Barrier, and that kind of gives us some insulation from disruption. But opponent's going to try and yoinkify Revealer now, so that would completely mess us up. So let's finger the XZ. Opponent Magispector win. This is not doing anything relevant. So we stop opponent's yoink. We get to keep our Revealer. This summons another Magispector. That doesn't matter. And now we get to activate. So let's activate Discard Spellbreaker. And this is the play. Okay, normally you're just going to normal summon Hexa. Alright, and this is going to let you draw 4. So let's show you how to do it with Revealer. Because we got a little bit extra extension, but normally you just normal summon this. So we're going to start by sending Mirror Mage to the graveyard. Alright, if you're playing budget, you only need 1 copy of this. It's going to activate. And we're going to add to the hand the Speaker of the Ice Barrier. Speaker for the Ice Barrier. He's got an adorable corgi. Very cute. Now normally, what you would do if you just had Hexa here is you'd special summon Speaker from the hand, and then you go into Marincess Coral, and then you'd resummon the Mirror Mage and activate Mirror Mage effect. But we got a bit of an extension here, so we're going to do our extension first. Let's Georges Georges gets to summon the Mirror Mage from the graveyard directly. So we get to get around using the Marincess Coral Anemone to resummon and get an extra body. But we basically be in the same position. Just because we had the Revealer and the Georges, we got an additional rank 7 XZ, or level 7, not rank 7 XZ, level 7 Synchro. And by level 7, I mean level 10. There's the Big Chungus. Alright. Because we got Big Chungus, we can activate Speaker, and that's going to banish friggin' the Big Chungus. So here you go. Normally, you just have Mirror Mage and the Hexa, and this is the play to Pot of Greed. Alright. You tribute, you get your tokens, then you make the Coral Dragon, alright? And you gotta have a way to get Speaker in the graveyard, so we're gonna discard with Coral Dragon, pop one of their cards, we're gonna pop the full armor, and now we activate, get an additional token, and because we banished a card, we're gonna trigger Chungus right now. We're just gonna dismantle their board here, get rid of that card they set, and now here it goes. Here is the Pot of Greed ×2. We're going to summon Croco Dragon. Croco Dragon is going to draw us 3 cards. Coral Dragon is going to draw us 1 card. If you're playing on ladder, you can block Ash Blossom. But there you go. We draw 4 cards with the Croco Dragon and the Coral Dragon. Beautiful. So what do we do now? All right, we have more plays. We drew into Freezing Chains, and we drew into Ice Barrier, and we drew into Imperm. All great. This we want in the graveyard now. So we're gonna start by Freezing Chains. We're gonna go level 1. Get our Hexa so we can go into a 10. And then we're going to activate, pop their Pendulum Scale, and we're going to go into the Ancestral Dragon. And now we got Ice Barrier in the graveyard. That means we can activate Ice Barrier on opponent's turn, search for a water to our hand, and trigger Supreme Sovereign to banish a card from field and graveyard. And Lancia obviously is also relevant. If opponent removes it, we get to summon Trishulas. And if they don't remove it, we get to special summon Ice Barriers from the deck. So opponent, what can you do? Opponent rudely kaijuing our Ice Dragon. That is fine. We get to special summon Trishula. We're going to get Trishula 0. We're going to banish 3 cards from the field. Opponent's entire field is gone. We still have Imperm. We still have Chungus trigger with the Ice Barrier to banish a card from field and graveyard. Opponent is completely cooked. Ice Barrier is going second. Does it? Love to see it. That's the Pot of Greed. That's the going second. That's disrupting opponent completely. You gotta love Ice Barriers. Let's go on to the next game. On to the next game. Playing Ice Barriers in the Wind and Water event. And we got a really excellent hand here. Going first, but opponent has the turn 0 Goaty plays. If they banish the Zep from their hand, then we are going to be cooked. Opponent does not have the Zep. Okay, we are safe. We are safe. But Snopio's targeting Mirror Mage, so if it leaves the field, it gets banished instead, means we won't get the search when it's sent to the graveyard. So very smart play from the Goaty player here. Let's discard, summon Adrian Ron. That's going to let us make a 10. Opponent Ghost Mourner negating the effect of the Adrian Ron. That is fine. Alright, let's activate Speaker. Opponent has... Yeah, we could have made Big Chungus before we did that. And then banish. That probably would have been an okay line. But let's do this instead. Let's make Greater Dragon. Activate Greater Dragon. Pop the Snopios. And we're going to tribute Greater Dragon and make our Ice Barrier tokens. This is probably not the best line, but it is a fun line. So we're going to go into Lancia here. We know opponent is going to be summoning a Keef on their standby phase. So Lancia going to trigger guaranteed. We got this Imperm. And we also get the Ice Barrier token, which matters because a lot of our cards care about having another Ice Barrier on the field. And Lancia is not an Ice Barrier. So we got the lines. We got lines. Keef comes back. Lancia triggered summoning the General Raiho. Now opponent, when they activate monster effects, they got to discard a card. They're going to activate Keef, banish itself, and banish General Raiho. And also special summon a monster. So they're going to special summon their banished Exceed. We could negate this, but why negate it when opponent has to discard a card to do this? So opponent discarding Keef. They're down to 1 card in hand. They trigger the Lancia because they summon a monster. We're going to summon Revealer from the deck. Now we've done this twice. You can only do it twice per turn. So that is now done. Opponent White Reincarnation. They're going to search for the Sunfish, and they can obviously go into a rank 4 XZ here, but I'm not scared of a rank 4 XZ. Stealth Kraken, what is it going to do? Alright, well, it can pop and pop our Revealer, but they could already just attack over Revealer, so that doesn't matter. And if they pop Lancia, they're completely cooked. Opponent, popping Lancia, You are fully cooked now, opponent. Trishul Zero is here. Banish 2 cards, or 3 cards from their field. They only have 2. Opponent has nothing left, and they are done. Love to see a Goatee's getting cooked by Ice Barriers. Let's go on to the next game. On to the next game. Like I said, if you want to see my budget decks will be coming up soon. Make sure to subscribe to that channel. You get notified future videos. Opponent playing Flounderies in the Windwater event. Flounderies, obviously, a very fun deck to play. But we have our Hexa, which means we have our normal summon, draw 4. Let's see if Flounderies is going to be enough. Now, we obviously also have Evenly Matched, which is going to make them go down to 1 card. So that's going to be pretty good. We also have a very fun Foolish Burial plus Ice Barrier. If we can find a way to discard Ice Barrier, we can search for our Turtle Kaiju. Also, Foolish Burial can send our Turtle Kaiju, or our Ice Barrier Mirror Mage, the new one. Here he is. Send him to the graveyard and search for any Ice Barrier cards. So, opponent sets up pretty solid board. They got 2 spell traps. They got the Flounderies on field. They got the M-Pen, going to negate any of our special summon monsters in attack mode. We also draw Imperm. That's great. That means we can negate M-Pen after we evenly. So, go to battle evenly. Opponent keeps the M-Pen as expected. Let's Imperm it. And let's do our full combo. Summon Hexa. Pot of Greed ×2. Send Mirror Mage to the graveyard. Add the Speaker. I already showed you how to do this. Special Summon Speaker. Link to into the Marincess Coral. If we had not negated the Flounderies, we would not be able to activate Coral here because you can't summon Links in defense mode. Let's summon that Mirror Mage. Activate Tribute the Coral Anemone. Summon our tokens in the graveyard. Activate Speaker's effect. Banish itself to get our last token. Summon Coral Dragon. Coral Dragon going to be the out to this because we've got to clear it since we don't have our battle phase. Let's discard Ice Barrier, pop the Flounderies, Synchro Summon the Croco Dragon, and that is going to be draw 4. Draw 4. Casual normal summon, draw 4. Yu-Gi-Oh! Very fair and balanced game. Drawing 4 here. Now, one awkward thing about this deck, if you don't have an Ice Barrier on the field, you can't summon your Georges, and there's actually no Synchro 10 Ice Barrier. They are all not called Ice Barrier, so a little awkward, but it is fine. Of course, we get to Ice Barrier activate, search for our Ice Jade, draw an Adrian. Discard a card. We're going to just discard the Raiho here. Summon the Adrian, and instead of making the Ice Barrier Dragon here, who's not an Ice Barrier, opponent's playing Flounderies, they don't special summon, so he's not going to trigger. So instead, let's just Synchro Summon Che-Ying in defense mode. And we can activate this, pop a card, discard Ice Barrier, and then banish Ice Barrier, trigger the Che-Ying. So, pretty solid opponent. Flounderies and M-Pen, or Eaglin, sorry. We're going to pop that immediately. Discard Ice Barrier. Discard opponent's Flounderies and Rabina that we took from them. So, opponent has no Rabina in play. They do have a Rabina in the graveyard, though. Getting the Toucan back. Opponent getting Eaglin. Getting the Flounderies and Snell. Summoning Stry, that is going to target the M-Pen in the graveyard. I am worried about them banishing this Flounderies and Rabina, because once it's banished, they can get it back. So I'm actually going to respond with Che-Ying here, banish their monster on field, and banish the M-Pen they were going to banish, just so that we don't have to banish their Rabina for them. Opponent gets back to Eaglin, it's already activated this turn. They can normal summon another Flounderies, but opponent is out of plays. Ice Barriers does it again. Flounderies is cooked. Let's go on to the next game. On to the next game. We are going second. Opponent is playing Ice Jades. Ice Jades getting Ice Jade Cradle. And fun thing about Ice Jade Cradle and the Ice Jades, alright, searching for the Adrian Ron. Any deck that's playing water monsters can play this package, and you just get to summon the Ice Barriers. So honestly, I think a lot of water decks are just going to splash the Lancia and a single copy of Raiho. You play some Trishul's in the extra deck, and you know it's just a lot for a lot of decks to deal with. It's just a good little package. Opponent extending even further here, special summoning Buzzsaw with the Ice Jade Kimura going into Bahamut Shark. Really hoping to draw or evenly matched here, or a negate. Imperm would be nice. We could stop opponent from doing things, but their opponent's playing the Ice Fortress, so opponent's going to have a Yoink. They're going to have the Lancia, which is going to summon things from the deck, and if we remove it, banishes our field. So going to be a lot for us to deal with. Lancia is here, so there's the full armor Black Ray, Lancia, and the XYZ armor Fortress. Let's search with Medallion. Get ourselves a General Wayne. Is General Wayne the right choice here? Probably not. I was hoping I could summon General Wayne before they flip this face up, and then it'll get banished. But it does mean we have to get a Ice Barrier on field and then summon our Georgius. So that is a bit of a big ask. Let's Medallion. Get our Mirror Mage. And what we're going to do here is summon Ron and get a bit of protection going. Or try to. Opponent's probably going to respond to this. Summon the Ron here. Get our token. Opponent summons and also activates full armored, so we don't have the opportunity to summon our Ice General Wayne. So opponent's spell traps won't get banished, sadly. That means this is going to be activatable and yoink, and it's going to yoink our stuff. But we got the Ice Shade Gamir, like in the other game. All right, you probably already saw Ice Shade Gamir. If they activate this effect, we can respond with the Gamir and banish the full armored Dark Knight Lancer. So it won't be yoinking. So we got yoink protection. Let's summon Mirror Mage, summon Georgius. Georgius can activate, but we don't have to. And now that General Wayne doesn't really do anything, it's not really worth discarding a card to get him on field. We got discard card to activate all our effects now. Let's go to battle, clear the General Raiho. Opponent is going to go full armor, but because they did this in the damage step, they can't activate the Dark Knight to yoinkify, and if they had done that, we would have responded with Gamir and banished. So yeah, opponent maybe played themselves a little bit, but they're in such a strong position, doesn't really matter that much. We can activate, we got a discard card to do this. Send Georgius to the graveyard and get our tokens. Maybe it would have been worthwhile to do this pre-combat so that we could attack again, but now opponent gets the Lancia again. We can respond with Adrienne and banish the Lancia. Also protects our monsters from being banished, so if they summon Trishula, we're safe, but opponent resummons the Raiho. Yeah, so this is not ideal. Obviously, we are not able to activate our monster effects very much. Trishula gonna also randomly banish a card from our hand and graveyard. They can't banish one from the field because of the effect of Adrienne. We can go to Coral Dragon, but our problem is we're running out of cards to discard to this Raiho. The second Raiho really was what's cooking us right now. So we can Synchro into the White Aura Whale, pop their entire field, which is like not terrible. We also get to draw a card with Coral Dragon. So we got one more activation. We can discard our Hexa, and opponent's full armor Blacklight Lancer has an effect. If it be destroyed, detach all materials from this card instead. So that is protecting their full armor Dark Knight. Also, this equip spell has a secret effect that is not legible that says if the monster it's attached to be destroyed, destroy the attachment instead. So opponent gets to keep two of their really sweet monsters. We got the White Aura Whale, and because we popped their stuff, it triggered the effect of Ice Shade Tremor. You get to resummon Adrienne and search for manifestation. So opponent's plussing off our removal. We're going to Freezing Chains here and get back our Mirror Mage and go into our own Lancia, but we only have one monster effect activation on field, so we're pretty much cooked. It was difficult to... I guess there wasn't really a lot we could have done, because, yeah, we could have gone to battle and crashed Lancias maybe, but that wouldn't have been ideal either, so opponents probably got us. They have to misplay pretty badly here to not got us. Okay, opponent activating, attaching, that's going to activate the effect of full armor. We're going to respond, banish it so they don't get to yoink, but we have to discard our last card to do that, which means we can no longer activate Lancia, summon monsters from the deck, and when Lancia is destroyed, we summon Trishula from the extra deck. We can't activate it because we don't have a card to discard. Opponent goes in and Jameer Adrienne. It starts reducing the attack of our Lancia and goes into a second, or Crystal Zero, sorry. A Crystal Zero. Starts reducing our attack even more. Opponent has quite a lot of attack points on field, and they go into a second full armor Dark Knight, and this is where I'm kind of cooked. Alright, the second Dark Knight is going to be the one that gets us. Alright, we banish one, but it's not a hard once per turn, so the second copy, when it's attached with the Armored Xyz, can yoinkify, and so we are fully cooked. They steal our Gamir, we have no monsters on field, we can't activate effects. That is good game. I mean, Ice Bears losing to Ice Bears, that's meta. Let's go on to the next game. On to the next game. We are going second. We got a very solid Ice Jade hand, or Ice Barrier hand, I should say. Getting confused. All those people playing Ice Bears, Ice Jades. Opponent going first. Do they know the combo? Do they know how to draw 4 cards with the Hexa. We will see. Opponent did not search for the right card. They searched for Georgius. They could still have it if they already have the speaker for the Ice Bear in the hand. So opponent making their tokens. Synchroing Coral Dragon, but now they don't have a way to get speaker into the graveyard. Oh, okay, they do have the speaker. Opponent link 2s here, or synchro 6s, then they could get speaker in the graveyard and get that last token to Pot of Greed 2 times. So opponent drawing 1 card with Coral Dragon, making a Enigmaster, Packbit, and Lancia. Okay, so this is not an optimal Ice Barrier start. Opponent does not know the correct combo. Packbit is summoning itself, and what is this even doing? Literally, it does nothing. Okay, cool. Medallion of Ice Bearer searching for General Wayne, and opponent ending the turn with just Lancia. So can we play through Lancia? Now, evenly matched, we lose our battle phase, we banish Packbit and Speaker. That doesn't really accomplish anything, so I'm going to try and go to battle and use battle phase for combat. Let's try summoning Adrian. We know opponent is going to respond with Lancia getting the General Wayne, or General Raiho, sorry. So now our field effects are negated unless we discard cards. So let's go into Supreme Sovereign. Opponent switching into defense mode, getting a Defender, which is super annoying. Means we can't really attack with any of our monsters, but that's, you know what, that's fine. They used Lancia twice, can't use it another time. Let's normal summon Hexa and do the combo, show opponent how it's done. Get the token, and by banishing a card in graveyard, we trigger Chaying, and then we can banish the Raiho. So discard this Ice Barrier, which is nice, and banish their Mirror Mage from the graveyard, banish their Raiho. So that is sick. Alright, now we search for Georgius, and we can summon our Speaker, we can summon our Georgius, get our Mirror Mage onto the field, and we can go into Coral Dragon. We can discard to pop their dragon, and the dragon didn't trigger. Why didn't the dragon trigger? We control Georgius, and Georgius says when we control another Ice Barrier, opponent can't activate effective monsters in the graveyard. So we popped Coral Dragon, popped the Lancia, and Lancia does not get to trigger because of our Georgius. So that was the play. We're not actually going to Pot of Greed here. We can only make 2 tokens because our field is clogged. We get to draw the Revealer, and that was entirely my fault. Well, I guess it wasn't my fault. I had to activate the Speaker earlier to banish so we could start activating field effects. So kind of trapped here. We do get to Croco Dragon anyway. Draw 3. What am I saying? We Croco Dragon anyway, draw 3. So we just drew 4. We got Imperm, we got Called by the Grave. Our clock is extremely low. We can't attack because of this Defender. Clock is low. Alright, remember that. It's important. It's going to be important for later. Opponent, General Wayne summoning himself for free. Getting a search for a Medallion. And opponent synchroing into Trishula. We do have an Imperm that we drew here, so we're going to Imperm that. We do not want all of our monsters to be banished. That is not ideal. We are also going to use Finger and banish the Mirror Mage, negating it. Also relevant, because we are playing the same deck. This negates our Mirror Mages too. We'll see if we remember. Our timer's really low now. We can still discard 2 cards, and we can also activate Ice Bear in the graveyard to trigger Chaying. Opponent, you are negated. They are activating Speaker, summoning a token, activating Medallion, searching for a Georgius, activating Georgius for no value because you can't special summon something when your field is full, going into Gungnir. Now we have to banish, or we have to get rid of this Gungnir, so I'm going to activate Ice Bear right now. We're going to search for anything, doesn't matter. We're actually going to search for Ice Jade Run, and then banish this so they can't pop our monsters, banish a Hexa from the graveyard. Opponent going to battle, attacking into our Croco Dragon and popping their Trishula. Now, I had to toggle off here because my timer was at like 3 seconds, and I didn't want to time out. And I think activating Croco Dragon and choosing 2 discards and popping would probably not be enough time. Now, they summoned Trishula and it has enough attack to attack over Supreme Sovereign. If I had enough time, I could have discarded the 2 cards to pop the Trishula. I don't really know why the timer always... I seem to run a timer a lot. It feels like a lot of games are decided by timer. So Konami, if you're listening, increase the timer a little bit. Like, I don't know, an extra 60 seconds late in the game would matter a lot, because I could have popped this Trishula. In paper, it wouldn't have been a problem to say, yeah, discard 2, pop Trishula. But, you know, in Master Duel, when you have 5 seconds left and opponent pops your Sword Soul, you know, you're in trouble. But you know what? This is fine. It sounds like I'm being salty because I'm losing, but, you know, we're actually in a pretty good spot now. Opponent has really nothing interaction-wise on the board except this face down. Let's search for Georgius. Activate Georgius. Georgius gets to summon a monster from the graveyard, so we get our Speaker Synchro into a Demir Adrian. Summon the main monster zone in case we want to link summon. Now we're going to activate Ron, discard a card, summon another Synchro 10, go into our own Lancia. Now we're the Lancia deck. Revealer is here. We're going to tribute Lancia to summon the tokens, except I forgot Mirror Mage is negated by impermanence. Oops, that was my own fault. Let's go to battle. We can't attack. We're going to have to try again on the next turn. Thankfully, we have Lancia now, so if opponent special summons anything, we get to trigger it. Opponent going to battle. We're going to activate Gamir. Gamir, protect our monsters from being banished. Opponent pops our Mirror Jade. We get to search for Revealer. Going main phase 2. Opponent summoning and tributing to get the General Gantala, which does not matter, but we get to trigger our Lancia, and opponent has Imperm. Alright. Opponent's out of interaction. This doesn't do anything really. Not really relevant. It summons a monster in the end phase. Opponent's playing bad cards. All good. We do have to clear this defender still. Yeah, triggering Lancia again. Lancia just loves to activate, you know? He just loves to activate. Activating is fun. Opponent searching for a trap. That does not matter. They can't set it. We're in the end phase. Let's see if we can push through some big damage. Revealer, banish Revealer from the graveyard to discard and summon our Mirror Mage. Try and do it again this time. We summon our tokens and we make a Synchro 8. Amazing Synchro 8. You have to play in the deck. Cradle Dragon. When it's Synchro Summon, target cards up to the number of water monsters used for the Synchro Summon, destroy them. That is destroy 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Destroy Defender, Trishula, General, that other thing. Opponent doesn't like all their stuff being popped. Under the Ice Mountain, they are done. Love to see it. That is Ice Barriers cooking Ice Barriers. Let's go on to the deck list. Alright, here is the deck list. Thank you for sending replays. If you're sending replays, we'll get to the replay videos in the future. For now, let's go through the deck list for the Wind Water event. You can also play this on regular ladder. It's pretty solid. We got triple Hexa. We got triple Mirror Mage. We got Spellbreaker of the Ice Barrier, which completely cooks some decks. Alright, you activate this, discard a card, an Ice Barrier monster, and then neither player can activate spell cards until the end of our next turn while this monster's on the field. So you discard this. Opponent, if they're playing a spell deck, they just can't activate their spells, and they're pretty much completely cooked. So, and it's till the end of our next turn, so you can just do it again, and opponent never can activate spells. Alright, we got triple Revealer, we got triple Speaker, we got the General Wayne, we got the General Raiho. General Wayne probably cuttable if you're playing this in regular ladder. You know, you're going to fit your Maxis and Ash Blossom in here, but in this event, pretty solid. Triple Georges. We got triple Agerine Ron. We got the Turtle to search with our Ice Barrier to remove things that need to be removed. Foolish Burial is mid. You can probably cut this. Really, we're using it to send Mirror Mage to the graveyard, search for any Ice Barriers, so it's kind of like another copy of Medallion. But, you know, we usually have access to this, so yeah, it's okay. It's mid. We got triple Medallion. We got the Foolish Burial Goods to send Ice Barrier and search for any level 5 or higher water. Wins over the Ice Barrier. Lets us special summon a bunch of Ice Barriers from the deck. It is okay. You can also turn your normal summon Speaker into secretly normal summon Hexa, which is pretty good. So kind of like a little bit of an extender here. 2 Freezing Chains. We got 2 Call by the Grave. We got 2 Ice Barriers. We got triple Evenly Matched. We got triple Infinite Impermanence in the extra deck. Coral Dragon, Deep Sea Prima Donna, Stardust Dragon, Gradle Dragon, White Aura Whale, Adamancipator, Risen Dragite. We got the Excel Synchro Stardust. We got Trishula. We got Ravenous Croco Dragon. We got Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign. We got Gamir. We got Lancia ×2. We got Trishula 0. And we got Coral Anemone. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think of Ice Barriers. If you got a better deck list, if I'm missing out on some Ice Barrier cards, let me know down in the comments and we'll test it out in the future. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.